Alright, let's talk about when have you bought too much music gear? Oh, yes, I get some haters on this plenty of times. So let's just go into it. Have I done that? Sure. Do I care? No, I do not care. If I felt like caring, I would get rid of it all. But I keep it because I like it. When I don't like it, I get rid of it. The main point with that is that you have to buy shit other people like, okay? It's not all about jumping on the bandwagon, but then again, it is because it's nice to have a community of people that could talk to you about the shit that you bought, as well as a community of people that want to buy the shit that you have. Okay, like, there's nothing wrong with buying some music gear that you could use and sell again. Certain items don't lose any value. Certain ones do, but not all of them. Any of my guitars aren't going to lose any value. They just sort of get older and they're more nostalgic over time. They're basically just sitting here gaining value as long as I keep the neck straight and everything. My pianos, they're older Roland pianos, so they can be cleaned and all the parts are available. They could be refurbished. And they sell for about the same price I bought one for. So there's that. Like, just try to buy some shit that people would buy back from you. My Firebase, people love that. The Drum Brute, people love that. People love the xylophone. Any of my gear, like, it's all sellable. If I didn't want it, I could sell it. And you'll notice that on Craigslist, a lot of the shit that you buy, other people have owned it a few times, switched it around. Maybe they make an album with it, they get rid of it after the album's over. I see it all the time. Like, people have more money than me. And they're just like, I was thinking about shitting out this fucking $1,500 thing because I'm not even touching it so that I could get this other thing that's 2 grand. And you're like, dang. Like, people are playing it on a bigger level than me. I'm on the bottom level of this shit, I'm just trying to get what I need to make the sounds that I want. I'm not trying to go into getting like crazy, crazy gear. As long as it does what I want it to do, that's good enough for me. But a lot of people will sort of like tell you about the pitfalls of getting too much gear. Trust me, I've been there, alright? Don't think I haven't. um, it could waste more time than you play instruments. So what you'll see is people that don't play. I saw this at the concert. There was a guy, he was a guitar tech and he came up to play. And I was like, alright, this guy must be pretty good. He's a guitar tech. Not really, like, he's good at working on guitars because it's pretty easy. It's just, it takes a little bit of perception and experience. But working on guitars isn't really all that hard. Making music is hard. Buying the gear isn't as hard as making the music. So, yeah, you got your point with that. If anybody wants to lay that down, that you can't just buy gear and make it sound good. And that's also false too. If you start to get into, Euro racks and all kinds of shit where you're basically just controlling the sound and you're not really making it and you're just perceiving it. A lot of that is what synthesis is all about. And people don't really understand synthesizers and drum machines and shit like that. It's its own creative form. It's basically a palette of different things that you could do with it. It's not just a normal instrument. You could decide to make a noise no one's ever made before, you know? And those noises could inspire you to continue playing music. Now, if you just keep playing the same instrument and you're like, I am tired of playing guitar, or I am tired of playing bass, I'm tired of banging on the drums. The main part of why I figured out you get tired of it is you're probably not playing with other musicians, and or you're not putting it on a computer program where you could add layers onto yourself, or even you're not jamming with yourself on a drum beat, just having a beat to go along with goes a long ways. And the people neglect that all the time. No one's ever heard of a drum machine most of the time, and you're like, dude, you could use one of those. People don't know about it, you know, like they think they need a drummer and they can't find one, and then they play guitar by themselves and they're like, I wish I could get a drummer, but I can't because I'm not good enough, because that drummer, he just drums for all these bands, so I'm going to get good enough. So we end up with another good guitar player, which we have thousands of, because everybody plays guitar, just like me. You know, I started out, you just grab a guitar and you think that's going to be the easiest thing to start. It's really not. Like, there are so many other instruments that are better to start off with than the guitar. Like the piano, or the xylophone, or the drum machine, or the bass. And you might have just chose the wrong instrument to begin with, you know? Maybe you should add more instruments in until you see what sounds good to you. It surprised me, like, that I'd practiced playing bass for so long and then my band wanted me to play the xylophone, but it was actually genuine, you know? Like, I jammed with them with the bass, and I could hold up. But then once I played the xylophone, they were like, "Well, this is the best sound of us right here," and that's a whole different level. Like, you're jamming with people enough to where they decide they have a preference to what you play. Hey, that's fucking cool, dude. Like, it doesn't mean all of my other gear I can't play, but if I felt like learning guitar today, I could. You know, it's just not really my favorite instrument. And once I found piano, I was like, this is better than guitar for me. Like, I would rather play this than that. And it sucks, but there's so many instruments that you don't need to play them all. Having a few guitars around doesn't hurt. People come play my guitars whenever they want. And this is the other thing. Once you gather all this gear, it gathers all the people, because all the people can't lug their gear everywhere and then set it up. That always takes forever. Even taking all this shit downstairs to get a larger group takes forever. So, yeah, having it all in a studio, dude, you're above and beyond what most other people have, which is basically a place to play. And that's a gift, and you have to treat that the right way too. You know, if you do have somewhere to play, you have to respect it. You have to do the right things to keep it a space that's respected, you know. That's half of the battle of getting some music gear, is somewhere to put it. I understand that too. Not everybody has that. Most people don't. Or they live in a condo where people complain. Luckily, no one complains in my condo, but, you know, there's that. You really just need more instruments so that you can continue playing music. It's going to get too boring to play one instrument. And that sucks to say, because people don't want to hear that. But hey, it's the truth. Playing one instrument by itself, you're going to run out of possibilities one day. What you need is another instrument to bump into it in order to change the instrument that you're playing. You need a perception from either a drum beat, some chords, progressing, something like that, in order to get you going into not just practicing dry with one instrument.